Hi everyone, I'm Brenda, Sillas, health and wellness coach focusing on weight loss strategy and nutrition techniques. Today's video is one of my favorites, but before I get started, I do want to encourage you to stay till the end because I am going to be sharing with you how you can get a complimentary consultation with me. Today's video is going to be focused on how to not only lose weight as a mom, but finally get toned, right? You don't want big muscles, you don't want to get bulky, but you do want to get toned. I get it. So that's what we're going to be focusing in on today. And really, if you watched the previous videos, which if you haven't, I want you to do that first because I want you to build the foundation and focus on 5 key habits that I talked about in the earlier video. But for the purpose of this video, I know that as a busy mom, you desperately want to lose weight and get toned. I get it. So there's 2 things that really need to happen once you've addressed the 5 foundational pieces that I talked about in the first video. And these 2 things are nutrition and exercise. But not just about eating healthy and moving your body. If the goal is to get toned and lose weight, then you have to be super intentional about exactly what that's going to look like. And you have to get extremely intentional with the strategies around exercise and nutrition. I'll start with nutrition. And the reason why I'm starting with nutrition first is because when women want to get toned, they think that they can still keep on eating less and dieting. And I'm here to demystify that myth, right? I'm here to tell you the truth. If your goal is to get toned and gain lean muscle mass, you actually have to eat more. This doesn't mean you can eat more donuts and ice cream and cakes and cookies because you would get the complete opposite results. With nutrition, you have to start focusing on something called macronutrients. And what these are carbohydrates, protein, and fats. Historically, people have been afraid of fats because you think that it makes you fat. There is the ketogenic diet that tells you to eat a lot of fat. There's the paleo diet, all these different diets. But take all of those names aside, and I want you to focus on carbohydrates, fats, and protein. When I started years ago, 20 years ago when I was in high school, it gives you my age, I started researching how I could become a faster runner. And the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is because this is how I fell in love with macronutrients. I learned that in order to become a faster runner, I needed to increase my lean muscle mass, and I also needed to focus on my macronutrients. And I got introduced to a ratio of 40-30-30. That's 40% carbohydrates, 30% fat, and 30% protein. Now this video is for the a little bit more advanced person that's familiar with macronutrients, but if your goal is to get toned, I want you to use the 40-30-30 rule as a foundation. So what this means is start looking at your macronutrients today and what does your diet look like? There is an app that I recommend if you want to use an app called Lose It, where if you input all of your macronutrients and everything that you eat, it will automatically calculate your macronutrients for you. The best place to start is to see how you're currently eating today. But if you want to calculate it old school, just paper and pen, you can do that. This is where I'm going to get a little bit granular, but stay with me. For every carbohydrate that you consume, it has 4 calories. For every protein that you consume, it also has 4 calories. For every gram of fat that you consume, that's 9 calories. 9, right? Can't use one hand. So then you start doing the math. So if you eat like an apple, which is pretty much all carbohydrates, that's fine. Probably has around 25 grams of carbohydrates. You multiply that by 4, and then that's how you get the calories. So 25 grams of carbohydrates times 4 calories per gram is going to give you 100. So that's how you start to calculate your macronutrients. Now, when it comes to getting toned, you do want to increase the amount of protein that you're eating and also the healthy fats and also the healthy carbohydrates, but you do want to be a little bit more mindful of your carbohydrates. And instead of focusing on, simple and complex, take that away from the equation and focus your carbohydrates on fiber. So the more that you can get your carbohydrates to be filled with primarily fiber, you're going to be getting good, high quality carbohydrates. So in order to start increasing lean muscle mass and get toned, you do need to focus on those 3 macronutrients: fiber, protein, and carbohydrates. And a good place to start in terms of a ratio is 40, 30, 30. 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat. I will make another video where I actually demonstrate what that looks like in terms of a plate setting, but for now, just ingrain that in your head. 40, 30, 30, download the Lose It app or start tracking these macronutrients on pen and paper, but start getting a visual for how your macronutrients look like today. The second piece about getting toned is exercise. So now that you've lost weight and you want to start to get toned, yes, the type and quality of exercise that you're doing really does matter. I'm sorry to break this to you, but you are going to have to start focusing on strength training, whether that means lifting weights at a gym or doing something like Pilates or yoga, because believe it or not, it's a weight-bearing activity. So anything that you can do to increase your resistance with weights or with your body, that is going to help you get toned. Women historically have just done cardio, and cardio does matter, but now it's about focusing on more resistance trainings, whether you have exercise bands, and also the intensity of your workouts will also need to increase and change. So a little bit less focus on cardio and more focus on strength training and doing weights and more weight-bearing activities. So this doesn't mean that you need to stop doing cardio completely, but if you have been doing cardiovascular exercises every single day, then maybe cut down to about 3 times a week and replace those other 2 times that you've been exercising with strength training exercises. I'll post another video on what types of strength training exercises you can do, but when you want to get toned and increase lean muscle mass, strength training and your nutrition are going to be the 2 major components that are going to transform your entire life and your body. So if you're a busy mom like I am, then you're probably thinking, this is so unrealistic. I'll never be able to get a toned body or gain lean muscle mass. And here's the key that I want you to focus on: consistency and habits. So if you haven't built the consistency of exercising, then start with your nutrition, right? As a busy mom, the beauty about gaining lean muscle mass and getting toned is that your meals are going to become so simple. In another video, I'm going to share with you how to assemble your meals to maximize and further get you closer towards getting toned and gaining lean muscle mass. But know that when you're trying to get toned, your meals are going to become very, very simple. Things that are high in protein, such as chicken breast, if you do consume animal products. If you don't consume animal products, things like lentils that are super high in protein and fiber, like I mentioned. So in another video, we're going to talk about exactly how to do it and what foods to focus on. But for now, know that as a busy mom, if you do want to get toned and increase your lean muscle mass, you're going to have to focus on macronutrients, carbohydrates, protein, and healthy fats. And the ratio that I shared was 40, 30, 30. 40% carbohydrates, 30% fat, and 30% protein. Again, that's just a great place to start. If you're far advanced, then that's not going to work for you, but start with 40, 30, 30. And with your exercise, it's going to be about getting more specific and intentional, increasing your strength training, your weight-bearing activities, and less cardio. Again, I am Brenda, Sillas, your health and wellness coach, weight loss strategist, and I focus heavily on nutrition. And thank you so much for watching. And I want to remind you to click on the links below and schedule a complimentary consultation with me so that I can break this down for you further in a way that makes sense for you and that is customized specifically for you and your lifestyle to get the results that you want.